up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Unmasking Greatness. I'm your host, Chris Kokoris, and today's episode, I have a very special guest, one that I'm actually really excited to talk to, Lazaro Montoto, owner of Tropical Grill franchise in the upstate South Carolina, correct?
Yeah.
All South Carolina?
Yeah, currently, just
Okay.
South Carolina currently.
So I'm super excited for this one. I've heard of your name for a while. Let me say that. People are like, oh, Laz. It's like, I know Tropical Grill. Just being in the fitness industry, I know Tropical Grill. And so coming to Carolina Iron, the gym that I'm at, that's where we linked up. I got introduced, and everybody's like, oh, you got to meet this guy. So and I did. I think Zeno, one of our coaches, introduced us initially.
That's right.
Yeah. And from there, we just kind of, every time I see you, I say, what's up?
Yeah.
Like nothing crazy. But I watch people from afar, and I see you. You come in, you do your workout, and it's pretty regular. And I was like, okay, like this is cool. You got someone that has a healthy, conscious restaurant that also works out.
Right.
It makes sense, So coming from my family, being in the restaurant business too, that's initially how we ended up talking, because I was asking you just in general. I thought it was really, really impressive that you have now currently 15 locations.
Right.
In my family, one was enough, maybe two. So that was kind of where our initial conversation started. And then
Sure.
You kind of told me a little bit more about your background too. That was really like, it had my wheels turning, and also I was pretty inspired with it. So I really want to kind of touch on that. I want you to kind of give the people like a little bit of like where you came from, how you got into like the food industry.
Okay.
Was that even the plan for you?
Definitely was not the plan. I'll say that.
Okay.
But yeah, going back to what you said earlier, one is more than enough. Definitely enough. You gotta be crazy to do more than one.
Yeah. I got a crazy person next to me.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder. But no, the restaurant business is just something that it kind of just happened to me. I was a young kid, 14 years old, growing up in Miami, Florida, and single mother, and just trying to do my part as a kid to make her, reduce some of the stress in her life. So, I went out looking for a job, and the first job I can get was in the restaurant business as a dishwasher. And, I took that on and, enjoyed it and had an opportunity to, be next to some great chefs. And I was I would say probably annoying enough to get their attention and finally get a guy that wanted to kind of teach me a little bit. Yeah. So, after harassing the chef for so long, he finally decided to take me under his wings. And then I realized what made me fall in love with the restaurant business then was, the cooking, the kitchen aspect of things. And it was kind of a journey, because this guy was I worked with a couple different guys that were super instrumental. One was a French guy, another one's another guy from Miami. But the French guy, man, Patrick, when I first told him I wanted to get in there and do some of this stuff, and I saw the glamorous side, right? He was the guy with the nice chef code and getting all the recognition, and I thought that was super cool as a 14-year-old. And I wanted to experience that. So the first thing he does is hand me a bag of 150-pound bag of carrots and tells me to start cutting this thing. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's not what I signed up for. I'm a chef.
Yeah.
So, he had me cut these carrots, man. And one of the first lessons that he taught me was this guy was super, super meticulous. And I'm cutting these things, and this guy was so difficult. If it wasn't exact, he'd throw that whole thing away. And I'd probably spent an hour cutting these carrots, and he came in and started looking at them, threw the whole thing away, and told me to start over. And then gave me a deadline on it. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
This is the real deal. I don't know about this. No, but, I at some point I realized, what his intentions were. And, it was something as simple as just teaching me knife skills at that moment. He was teaching me knife skills and teaching me integrity and doing things a certain way and doing it right.
Yeah.
And eventually, long story short, I became a chef at that restaurant and got an opportunity to cook for a ton of celebrities. And, I got to experience a little side of what he did and really enjoyed it, and realized that if I was going to have a career in the restaurant business, I needed to get outside my comfort zone. I was kind of an introvert, hidden in the kitchen. I enjoyed kind of looking through these double doors out there, but not getting out there and getting too far out there. So I knew that if I was going to be in the business for any significant amount of time, I would have to learn the front of house. And I eventually pushed myself out there and started learning what it was to, deal with customers one-on-one, and
Okay.
Even the simple things like serving, that are fundamental to the restaurant business, because that's where you hone your skills just for
Yeah.
service. And without service, or you can. I always tell people you can have great food in a restaurant with poor service, and your restaurant closes. But if you have great service with even okay food, you can have a line out the door. So service is that important.
Yeah.
And I learned that from those guys, and eventually became restaurant manager, and started growing in my career, and worked for a steakhouse in South Beach, Smith & Wolinski's. Still have great relationships with those guys there, and
That's super cool.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like the beginning, the journey, the earlier part of my career, and
Yeah.
kind of how the journey started.
Start from the back end. That's how I was. My father
Yeah.
having the restaurant, being the son, he could have put me on a pedestal if he wanted
Oh,
to,
yeah.
but it was not. He's like, in the dish pit, get in the dish pit.
yeah.
And I've always been, I don't know, I think I have a little bit of competitive nature. So even being back there, it was like, I'm gonna be the fastest dishwasher ever.
yeah.
It's just like, I was young, I thought it was like fun.
Yeah.
And but I started there, and similar to you, like I enjoyed the back end, the kitchen, the prep work, cooking. Honestly, like when people, if you ever look on like social media, some people will be like these like panic clips in the kitchen, and like tickets are just like rolling out. It was exciting, like it's highly stressful, but super exciting.
There's nothing better than that.
But I just like, I thrived off that kind of stuff. And especially if you have a good team.
Yeah.
When everything's clicking and people are moving,
Man.
it's so nice. And when it's not, it's just chaos,
It
But
is, yeah. But we thrive in that chaos for some reason. It's something that brings the best out of us, right?
yeah. And when you're done, it's just like, it's just a really good feeling.
Oh, the best.
And but I just love the whole kitchen back end stuff. But like you, I don't want to say terrified of the front. I just didn't want to go out there.
Yeah.
It was really, really, that was hard for me. That I had to push myself to go out there and talk to people, because my dad was always out there.
Right.
He was the people person, part of the community, and I felt like I was like in his shadow. So I was just like, I don't know, I felt super uncomfortable. Eventually I had to get out there, but being and learning the whole business, it's a lot. It's a lot to manage. Employees are hard to get. They're hard to get in and come in time.
Yeah.
And with my father, he didn't really have standard operation procedures, you know what I mean? It was very kind of like, go here, do that, do this, do that. And it worked for him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I just don't see, and maybe you can elaborate on that. I don't know. That's just, in my opinion, it's not possible to scale something like that, because it's just, it's almost like it's dependent on you being there. And so there's not 15 of Lazes running around here, Yeah. So let me back up a minute. So you got all this experience through this one location,
Right.
and then you kind of tested out. But when was kind of like, okay, like I'm ready to start my own thing? Was there something that like got you to a point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to dive head into something?
I don't know that anything prepares you for this necessarily, outside of jumping in and getting your feet wet. You think you're prepared, right? And it goes back to what you were just saying with your dad, right? He kind of flew by the seat of his pants, essentially, right? Single operator, and he can get away with that. And you go into this mentality, it's the only way you know. Things happen, problems come, you solve them, you get it done, and you keep moving, right? And you can get away with that with one restaurant. And I think that's where it starts to get difficult when you go to 2 and even 3. Getting to 2 is extremely difficult, because now you're, like you said, you can only be at one place at one time. You can't divide yourself. So, and then as things start to happen, you're not there to fix those instantly. So it's just part of any business, right? You know what you know, and when you don't know, you're gonna have to figure out the hard way sometimes.
Yeah.
And as you start to grow a business, there are things that you get into that you realize the hard way. You figure it out, and you're like, dang, I wish I would have known that sooner. It would have saved me a ton of headaches, ton of time and money and effort and all kinds of things, all kinds of heartache, really. So, unfortunately, that's life in a lot of ways, and how you adapt to those situations, how you react to those situations is what really determines whether or not you're successful. So learning on the fly, man, I mean, it's really no different than what your dad had to do. It's just on a bigger scale. So hopefully eventually you're smart enough to figure it out and put policies and procedures in place that help you not fall into the same situation more than once, and you start to kind of navigate things in a way that you don't fall into those traps and situations. You have a game plan for them. So, are you ever prepared? I don't know that you're ever prepared. I mean, honestly, I mean, there's a lot that helped me get to the point where I was prepared for a lot of what was getting thrown my way.
Yeah.
You know, I was able to deal with people. I had good people skills at that point. I had a good understanding of the kitchen. I knew how to set up a kitchen.
Yeah.
I knew how to operate a line and flow efficiently. I knew how to do the operation side of things. I knew how to do. But as a business owner, and I'm sure we'll get into it a little deeper, but I mean, I got into this because of my love for food and people. That is not what you do as an owner.
Yeah.
You get to do some of that.
Yeah.
But as you scale, I mean, you better be prepared for the other hats that you have to wear.
Yeah.
And there's a multitude of hats that you have to wear, especially early on in your business when you can't afford to bring people in that you know might already have that experience that you need on your team.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So
100%. I think honestly, I feel like that's a really good way to get into it, because I knew when I was in the restaurant business, I wanted to know how to do everything. Every position,
oh yeah,
from the dishwashing to the grills to the frying to like the front house. I wanted to know how to do everything, because there was times where, you know, people call out. You got to fill in a gap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you have, and I know you've heard this too, that ain't my job.
oh yeah.
Laz, that ain't my job, man. You don't pay me to do that.
You're right.
You're right. You're right. You ain't got a job no more, so you might as well go ahead and leave.
You don't got a job.
Yeah, I mean, we used to do that all the time. That used to be the worst thing I've ever heard. I'm like, you know what? You're right. This ain't no prison. You're free.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
And, you know, the reality of that is that it sounds good on paper, right? Because that's your initial thought. But when you got a line out the door, if you let your ego get in the way, in that moment, now you're shooting yourself in the foot. So sometimes you got to take a deep breath, analyze that situation. Hopefully, cooler heads prevail, and you have a one-on-one, and try to figure out if that's a genuine philosophy that this person has.
Yeah.
Is this their actual outlook on life and how they want to do things? And if they are, at that point, I think you have no choice but to move on. But maybe a good conversation, and I've experienced this with some of the younger generation early on. I just feel like younger people are a little more open to change.
Okay.
You know, hopefully, a lot of times I've been able to have these conversations and I've told them, I said, listen, man, I don't care what happens after here. Like, this is a job for now. You're in high school, man. Like, this is not your career. You're just kind of going through time, but thinking 10, 20 years from now, man, if you continue with that mentality, you will absolutely fail at everything you do in life. So catch it now and, you know, just get it done, man.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. Outside of making you go outside and paint the building, you know, I tell these guys straight up, outside of making you go outside and paint the building or repave the parking lot, I mean, we're in a restaurant, man. Anything that applies to this business is your job, period. You know? So some people get it, some people don't.
Yeah, I think it's part of being like a good team leader, and you being a good influence on them. That was one thing that I had to really reconstruct. One of the reasons that I was really good in the kitchen is because the people I had back there, I built good relationships with, right? And it's because I'm in the weeds with them. It's not like just pointing fingers.
Yeah.
They had a little more respect for me, you know, because I'm in there doing it. I'm not just, you know, throwing orders around and yelling at people. My dad was notorious for. You know, if you're old school Greek, like,
dude,
you know how those guys are, man.
You're not really from the restaurant business if you can get a pot or pan.
That is there's a funny story to that one too. But
More than a few.
So all these, are you? I mean, you're sole owners. Do you have partners? Is your family's involved as well, or how does that work out?
Yeah, I mean, I have. We founded it, my wife and I, with my mom and my stepfather. We got into the first one together, and we launched this brand. And, you know, my mom's, they're both a little older, have different desires and aspirations in life. They just kind of were looking for something to get by and do their thing. So, you know, at some point they decided they would stay with our second location. And they would manage that one. And, you know, we had desires to grow and keep doing this thing. And you know, we're younger and had a little different things going on in our life that we were looking for. And, you know, so we kept growing the brand. So, you know, it's basically they have the second location, and then we've taken on everything else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So.
Okay. That's a lot, dude. That's a lot to handle.
It is. But, you know, we have a great team, and we've had great people throughout our journey. There's been times where, you know, we haven't, and you know, we've had struggles because of that. But, you know, I love the team we have right now, and, you know, I think the outlook looks great. And, you know, I'm looking forward to continue growing this brand with the people we have. And I'm sure as we grow, we'll continue to add more and more people and find people that'll, you know, fill holes that we don't even know we have or that we have a need for. You know?
I got you. So here's a question. This is kind of a two-part question.
Okay.
You know, as you're going from one location to 2 to 3, the first one is, did you have a mentor or someone that was helping you guide more the business strategy? And then the second, as you grow and you have to hire, and now you're getting more into, I don't know if you want to call it like a corporate setting, having people that are helping, marketing or strategically in the back end business. Are you finding and outsourcing people, or did you have people that were already working that you saw really good qualities and you're like, hey, you know what? I think you would be really great to grow with me? Because that's essentially how we've brought on our coaches.
Yeah.
They were clients that were already qualified, and then we talked, and they're like, I want to work with you. So it was an easy transition for me to find people I trust.
Yeah.
I
would say it's been a combination of both. For your second question. For your first question, I have mentors. There's somebody that I talk about all the time is Henry Delgado. He's right now he's an owner at Smith & Wollensky. He has a couple locations, the one on South Beach and then one in London. And when I got there, he was the assistant manager, just to give you an idea of his growth and what an amazing person he is and the things that he's been able to accomplish. But he was somebody that I was able to watch. It wasn't even so much about what he said. He said a lot of things that were great, but his consistency, just the way he went about business every single day, uncompromised, was something that I really, really looked up to. And he's one of those mentors in my life that I'm blessed to have a relationship with to this day. And he's probably a resource that I could have used more. I think I pulled a lot from him just watching him in the time that I was able to work for him. And I probably could have reached out, but I think the culture has shifted so much in these last probably five or so years, maybe a little longer, where people are actually going out and looking for mentors and hiring mentors and hiring coaches. Our business is different in the sense that it's super competitive and people are not really open to divulging a lot of information and helping each other.
Yeah.
I've always tried to be different when it comes to that for that reason, because in reality, I never had anybody just come out and volunteer information to me. Okay. I had people that I could have reached out to and probably should have. In a lot of parts in my career and things that we were going through that I had to figure out the hard way. And they would have been more than happy and willing to do it. But I think the culture has shifted a lot, and I think that's more readily available. But I still believe in our space is still that competitive that people kind of feel like, oh, a new restaurant's coming, man, this guy's gonna take my business. I've never been that guy. If you were to ask about me to some of the local restaurant people and some people that were initially starting and now have grown into multiple locations and have done great, anytime my phone has rang, man, I'm like an open book. Because for me, it's not about the knowledge I have, it's about the places where I've struggled, right? And I've overcome, and I'm like, all right, don't do this, so I'll literally tell them all the don'ts. You know? And then there's some things that I might be like, yeah, this works. But I think from that standpoint, as far as mentors, I really didn't have people that I could pull from for that reason. So I've always tried to be the opposite when it comes to that. For your second question about people, it's always our desire to grow from within. That's the best situation on paper. All right. And it's something that sometimes I feel like, and in a lot of ways was a mistake. I try to push that so hard because I wanted that to be the case so bad because it just feels better to grow from within and see people that started from the bottom and maybe they were a cook and now they're a GM and now they're a district and now they're we have some of that. We have some people that have been with us a long time that have been able to do that and do it successfully. But I also had situations where I try to pull people up and they weren't ready to be pulled up and they didn't have that level of dedication needed. And a lot of times, if you force people just for your own personal sake of trying to, do something good, it can really backfire on you. So, I've had a nice, healthy balance of both where I've been able to promote from within. But, one of my best people I pulled from another state, So I think you have to be open-minded to both. You can't be so fixated on doing things a certain way that you put yourself in a bad position, because I'm telling you, I did that. I tried to force it numerous times with people just to the sake of, man, it'd be super cool to see this person grow. But in reality, the red flags were there, and you try to pull people into something that they're not ready for.
I like how you say that. I think that's I think it's a character trait that that I definitely see in you, and also I have a little bit of that as well, where you see a lot of potential in somebody. You see it, and you want to get in there and like get your hands dirty and help them. But if they're not ready, if they're not willing to put in the work, put in the time, now you're just burning yourself. And it's like, okay, where do you draw the line? You know, because I have a lot of coaches reach out to me too, and kind of like you, I'll say whatever, you know, whatever you want to know. I've tried to help. I had a guy that I had a friend message me about a guy, and he's like, you got to meet this dude. He's great. He's got a great backstory. He wants to do what you're doing. He's trying. Maybe you guys can work something out. Okay, cool. So I talked to him, and you know, he's like, Chris, I don't have any money to pay you. And I'm like, all right, well, listen. I was like, I value my friend. He said, you're a good person. We'll work something out. I'll help you get, you know, let me get you your first 5 clients, and then we'll work out a deal. If you want me to continue helping you.
Right.
What do? A couple weeks go by, he gets 5 clients. And at that point, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong with this. I never asked him for anything. I expected him to say something because that was our agreement.
Right.
And be like, okay, Chris, like I'm ready. I want to keep going. And because I told him, I was like, I'm gonna tell you what to do. Finish it, come back. Finish it, come back. And he kept doing it. And then once I realized how many clients he had, he kept asking. I'm like, you know, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. So you know, I stopped communicating, and we just kind of went our separate ways. Yeah. So, you know, I do my part where
people do that, man. They burn bridges. They don't see the big picture.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. I like to say we live in a pay me society, right? Nowadays, I come from a show you society, right? So like, when I was growing up, I had the mentality that I had to show you what I was worth, right? Yeah. For you to pay me, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So I took on roles, and I was like, there's zero chance. If I work for the right person that can observe me, there's zero chance I'm not going to grow. Zero chance. Now, if you put yourself in a situation where you're, you know, in a company that can't see your efforts, that's tough, right? But I think a lot of this generation now is like, you know, pay me and I'll show you. That just I can't get on board with that, man. You got to show me. So like even with family members or, you know, my own kid, you know, oh, Dad, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do that. Show me you're ready. You know, so those are hard lessons that you have to have convictions on and stand on. Yeah. And in that process, you're gonna have people not like you.
Yeah.
You know, but everybody says they're ready to do this, ready to do that. But show me. Show me the consistency. And the reason being is, right, because I'm the type of person, man, like if I bring somebody on, especially some young people, and they say, man, I want to open up a restaurant, right? A lot of people in my position, they will not hire you. This guy's future competition, not hire you. That's reality, man. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Me, if you sit down in an interview with me and you tell me you want to open up your own restaurant one day, I'm like, okay, cool, all right, show me, right? Yeah. I'm going to bring you in, and I need you to show me. And based on their effort, determines what they get out of me. So if they show me that they're really about it and they want to do this, man, I'm there. I will show up on their shifts and I will teach them little things, man, and I'll go in with them. Yeah. But if they show me they're lazy, they show me they have no integrity, no discipline, good luck, buddy.
You can almost see that, like, you could see their future, whether they're going to be successful or not. Just by their character traits. Yeah. So, but, you know, I'll say this, you know, I don't think I ever told you this, but for whatever reason, it stuck with me. There was one day we were at the gym, and it was you, it was your son, nephew, I think it was your nephew was here, and I went back, you guys were hitting some legs, and I was talking to you, and your son came up, and he said something to you, and he said, hey, Dad, I know I'm working 2 days, but I want to do 3 days. Like, can I do 3 days? And I think you said, yeah, when you work in, you know, something like that. Yeah. And so, and then we just started talking about something else. But I remember leaving that conversation, and I thought that was really, really cool because I was like, you know what? I was like, you have grown your business to a point where and I'm just assuming, your kids don't have to work if they don't want to work. You know what I mean? And so you could have just, you know, give them a salary. Some people give their kids salaries or whatever. And, you know, but he's in there, like working and wants to work. I thought that was really, really cool and really impressive. And that also showed me, I was like, you're a really good parent, a good father, because if you give your kids everything and they don't work for it, they're going to be a lost cause. Even if you left them everything, they would lose everything.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't know how to manage
100%.
it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I will say that I've learned from my father, which, you know, when I was younger, I was just like, you know what?
Understand it, you didn't get it. Why?
I was like, Dad, give me a skateboard. You know, it's $50, you know? Dad, give me a skateboard.
Pick up a shit.
No, he's like, you gotta wash some dishes.
Yep.
And in my mind, when I'm younger, I mean, you got money. I see you walking around with a pocket full of cash. Like, what do you get? Give me $50. And he never did. And but now, like as I'm older, I respect that, you know, because I wouldn't feel like I have to work for anything.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't have what I have either, you know.
sure.
So, but I thought that was really cool. I don't know if I ever told you that, but I remember that from that
Yeah,
day.
man. You know that's something that you don't. These kids, they don't come with a instruction manual, right? So you got to
Yeah.
as you go, man. And I think if I go back and I say what has given me the drive I have, what has made me successful, for me it's always going to be God first and foremost, right? We've had those conversations. That's just where I give the glory to first, right? But I go back to my childhood, right? And the need is really a big motivating driver behind everything we do, right? Having nothing really, growing up and having to figure it out day to day in a lot of ways pushed me to figure it out. Right?
Yeah.
So if I take that away from my kids by just handing it to them, what happens when we're not here? How do they get up and go figure it out for themselves? They won't. They really won't. So I'm the type of parent that in my heart, man, I want to give my kids absolutely everything. I want to give them everything. So I'm constantly fighting that and fighting the fact that I need to teach them how to, go out and fend for themselves.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, even early on, like when they were younger, my wife wants to give them the world, and I'd be like, yo, I'm with you, but
Yeah.
we have to say no. We have to say why. It's fine. No. We got to say no.
Yeah.
Like they have to hear no. It needs to be part of their regular thing, and they need to understand that they got to get up and they got to go make it happen. As an example of that was my oldest, right? And unfortunately, the oldest, they always get they get it the hardest, man, because we're trying to figure out how to do this thing.
Yeah.
And we're using them as an experiment project.
Yeah.
My daughter at one point, we get her a car, right, which was super cool. It was a huge blessing in our lives, man, to be able to do that for them, because neither one of us had that growing up, right? So it was like a cool moment for us. As cool as it probably was for her, I guarantee it was 10 times cooler for us that we were able to do that. And they'll never be able to really distinguish that, how much cooler it was for us. But, at one point or another, you're 15, you get a schedule, you go get a job, and she actually got fired from her job, right? She wasn't being disciplined, she wasn't coming into her schedule, she was calling out. So she has this car, right? She's living life, she's all around town, she's doing this, she's doing that, going to the football game, hanging out with her friends, doing the whole thing. And all of a sudden, she loses her job, right? It wasn't a big deal to her. She felt like she got away. It's like, okay, cool, now I don't have a job and I can go do what I need to do. Well, Dad, I'm going to the football game and I don't have no money for gas. I'm like, oh, damn, looks like you're not going to the football game.
Yeah.
So I hope somebody's picking you up because I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
What do you mean? And I see my wife, like, she wants to jump in. She's mom, She's mom. She wants to fix things. And I'm like, no. Why don't you have a job? Well, I don't know, Mariah, shout out to Mariah. Mariah fired me. No, Mariah didn't fire you. You lost your job, so there's a difference. So, kind of teaching her that, and then eventually when she started to feel the pain of not being able to get up and go when she wanted to, because before she had her own gas money, that's something they have to handle on their own, right? It's just the first little bit of responsibility that they get to feel for themselves. And she got out there and she had to go and ask for her job back. And initially she's like, Dad, talk to Mariah. I'm like, no. That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the owner. So what?
Yeah.
You go talk to Mariah. You make sure that she feels comfortable. And if she decides to give you a second chance, then you'll have a job. Otherwise, you need to go and apply to all the other places that are applying and not going to put up with your nonsense. So,
Dang,
it was such an amazing lesson, man. Like, after that, she just became such a much better employee. She understood things differently on a different level, and she was amazing ever since then. I mean, she was just one of our superstars at work for a long time and continues to be. And we took the best out of her.
Yeah.
By teaching her a little bit of a hard lesson. So, these are things that you learn.
Yeah. So wait a minute. She got fired from a tropical grill.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you know? I'll tell you this. That is something that is unfortunately, like in many Greeks that I know, um, they're typically the sons. You know, they're in the restaurant, and they are the worst person to be there. It actually hurts the business, but the father will not let it go.
Yeah.
You know, they will keep them there. You know, they'll put them somewhere, whatever. And
Everybody in the building hates him.
yeah, they're like, you know, this dude doesn't do anything, or he's messing things up. And I think, you know, as hard as it probably was for you to like do that with her, it's probably the best thing ever. You know.
Oh man, it was two lessons, right? Because Mariah was young in her career. She was somebody that started off with me as she was a cashier. She was just like the best we've ever had to this day, man. She was amazing, and still somebody that we care about and love, and is doing great things in her life. But this young girl, man, you know, she starts off as a cashier, super young. She becomes an assistant manager, she becomes a GM. So now she's managing one of my stores, and she has my kid to deal with, right? And I'll never forget her phone call. She's like, "Laz, I got to talk to you. What's going on?" "It's about Maddie." I'm like, "Okay, all right. Well, what's the problem?" She goes, "Well, she's not doing her job, man, and you know she's calling out all the time." I'm like, "Okay," and I just paused, and she's like, "Well, you know, what do you want me to do?" I said, "What do you mean? What do I want to do? No, what do you want to do?" She's like, "Well, what do you mean? It's your daughter. Like, what do I do?" I said, "Mariah, you're the general manager of the store. I gave you that title for a reason. What do you need to do? What would you do if she wasn't my daughter?" "I would fire her." I said, "All right, so why are you calling me?" She's like, "You're telling me to fire your daughter." I said, "No, I'm telling you to do your job." So she's like, "Okay, you sure?" I'm like, "Dude, do your job. Do your job. You get paid to do a job. Do your job." And it was a lesson for her, man. Like, you know, if you're not doing the job, you're not doing the job, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I always tell them to sit down, talk to them, and she had done her due diligence. Always try to give a little grace, especially the kids in high school and stuff. School's most important, but you know, with mine, I was gonna be just a little bit tougher. I had to be a little bit tougher because I knew very well that there was nothing. Her priorities weren't weren't right at that moment in her life. So just little things going a kid, and I have the ability to teach her a lesson that will hopefully stick with her the rest of her life, and it did, and she appreciates it to this day. So, you know, hard lessons learned.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's super cool, man. I want to shift another little bit because we had a conversation prior, actually, probably one of the first real sit down conversations together.
Yeah.
And I asked you a little bit about your faith.
Yeah.
And because that is, at the time I was telling you, I'm still working on it. You know, I'm still trying to figure things out, and this is actually really for everybody else to listen to because you said something that has like. Again, there's been a couple things I've been watching from you, but there's something that you really stuck with me because growing up, I went to church every Sunday. You know, I went to church every Sunday. I went to Greek Orthodox church. My mom would take me. My dad would work. You know, he never went. You know, he worked out on Sundays. So, but I would go. I couldn't understand anything that they said. You know, the majority of the sermon was in Greek. I didn't speak Greek, so I'm there, and you know, as a kid, I didn't want to go. I was like, "What am I going for? I'm dressing up in a suit to sit there, you know." And I'm a kid too, so I didn't really ever learn, I guess, the things that I need to learn, or you know, get what I'm supposed to be getting and building my faith up. So now that I'm older, there's been a lot of things that's happened in my life. Sometimes, I don't know, some may call it like a sign or a series of events and certain things that have kind of like pulled and tugged a little bit on my heartstrings too. But when I was talking to you, you mentioned a little bit about your faith, and I asked you how, I know you obviously built your faith up, but how did you start? You remember what you told me?
I don't.
All right, this is what you told me. You said, and it was, I don't know, it sounds so simple. You said, speak to him.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was no like elaboration. Hey, you need to read this or start here, do that. It's like, just speak to him. Yeah. And I thought that was like, I've never heard anybody say that to me.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody's usually like, start with this part in the chapter or the Psalms and things like that. But I've never heard anybody say that. And I thought that was like the most powerful thing ever because, you know, it just hit me in a way that was, like, why don't I talk to you?
Right.
You know?
It's one of those things, like, I remember early on when I first started kind of trying to get to know God, right? I would hear these guys, you know, on TV talk about God's voice. Oh, God said this and God said that. I'm like, why isn't God telling me anything? Why isn't he talking to me?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Maybe I'm not worthy of it, you know? So... And I heard something a long time ago, and it stuck to me, and it's something that I always go back to, especially when somebody's, where you are, or even in a position where they never even heard of God, right? How do I hear His voice? How do I get to know Him? I always use this example. I said, if your mom called you right now from a block number, said 2 words to you, how long is it going to take you to know that it's your mom? Probably after that first word,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
As soon as she opens her mouth, you're going to know that's mom, right?
Yeah.
It's no different with God. The reason you're able to pick up on your mom's voice immediately is because you spend time with her. You build a relationship with her, right? You've become accustomed to hearing her voice. So with God, is no different, man. If you spend time with God, and you and God, people want God to speak, but He's really, in reality, He's already said everything He needs to say. All you got to do is go to the book and find the red letters, right? And you're
Yeah.
gonna find everything He needs to say. It's all there. Everything that applies to your life is right there, right? But the reality is that God will speak to you in your situation, in your circumstances, in your life. But if you haven't spent the time to get to know Him, know His character, know His voice by spending time with Him, then you won't know. He could speak to you and you won't even know it's Him. So
Yeah.
it's relationship, man. It's no different. Like, I mean, we've gotten to know each other, and I mean, you can call me from a number at this point, and I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, that's Chris. I can hear it in his voice, So it's
Yeah.
it's being intentional and spending that time. And I would almost dare people to go into it with a closed-minded, prove him wrong. Go into it and talk to him, and prove him wrong that he doesn't exist, right? In a sense. And if you go into it, you're going to speak to him, and he's going to reveal himself to you. It's just something that's absolutely going to happen, 100%. So even if you go in with a closed mind, he's not offended by that,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he knew you before the foundation of the earth, and he loved you before you even knew who he was. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things that he'll blow your mind.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your faith? Have you always had your faith, or was there something that was kind of like similar to me, where you start like seeing different things and you kind of start leaning more into it, or were you just in a low where you're like, God, why are we going through this right now together?
Man, I think at least with my walk, and a lot of people that I know, man, it's funny because you could have you could be standing firm on your faith, man, and then all of a sudden something happens in your life and you're shaken and you question everything. It's just part of life, man.
Yeah.
I think we're human, and sometimes we're vulnerable. And my initial um, introduction to God was very simple and unexpected, and not something I was even looking for. I didn't grow up in church, man. I was just flipping through channels one day, and I stopped at a channel, and this guy was talking about God, and I felt the Holy Spirit, and I didn't even know what it was. I really genuinely didn't know what it was, but I felt it physically, and I knew that something happened that day. I couldn't explain it, right? So going back to being a dishwasher, man, I used to get in there early, and 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 just to be able to get there in time to watch a specific pastor. I would get there 30 minutes early, watch him every single morning, and I learned a lot from this guy. And my faith started to grow, and I started to kind of understand. For a long time there, he was the guy that would talk about hearing God's voice, and I'm just like, I'm not hearing it. So eventually, I was able to hear it, right? And I think we would all say, I wish we would hear him more.
Yeah.
But in reality, you have to go back to the Word, because He's already said everything He said.
Yeah.
His Word never changes. It's true. It's all there for you, right? So sometimes when we're seeking certain answers or certain direction in our life, all we really have to do is just go back to the basics, go back to the book,
Yeah.
and see what He had to say about a situation. And to answer it more directly, man, it's been a journey, right? It's been a journey. There's times where my faith is unshakable, and there's times where I've needed somebody to pick me up and be like, yo, get back to the basics. God's got you. None of this is a surprise to God, right? There's certain circumstances in my life that I've gone through where I'm just like, man, and I have to be reminded, none of this is a surprise to him. He didn't just wake up this morning and be like, oh, look what happened to Laz. Like, I got to go fix this. No, he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
He knows the beginning from the end, and he's just kind of watching us go through something he's already watched. So, and he's there for you, and it's a journey, man. It's a journey, and it'll always be a journey. And I'm sure there's still things yet to come that can shake me and have to put me back to my knees. And sometimes that's the best place to be in life, man. Because if we cruise through life, unfortunately, we're human, and we get comfortable, and we really start to. We might even pat ourselves in the back at some point or another and forget where it all comes from. So, I've tried to remind myself to get on my knees every morning and every night before I go to sleep, to spend some time with the Lord, because if I don't and I start falling away, he loves me enough to put me back on my knees, and it's not going to be out of my will. It's
Yeah.
going to be out of just circumstances
Yeah,
that I'm
yeah.
going through that force me to get back and look back at him, and I'd rather do it willingly than forcefully.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that gives you some peace, you know, when
does.
you have that relationship, because again, I mean, life it comes in all different directions, and sometimes people don't understand why things are happening and the timing, and it's sometimes it could be a test of your strength, you know, a test of your faith, and are you going to push through, or are you going to crumble?
Right.
You know, like where is it going to go?
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, another reason why, like, I've been leaning a lot into it too, because again, I feel like there's been a lot of times where I would almost even say like I'm lost.
Right.
I'm like, where are we going? What are
Right.
we doing? You know,
Yeah.
and
I
trying
relate
to
that.
try to reel it back in. I'm like, you know what? No, this is happening for a reason. You know, and so I try not to dismiss it.
Right.
I acknowledge it, and I'm like, okay, like get back on the line.
Oh yeah.
So again, I'm still working on it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
But like having people like you, I've had people like Jeremy come in here and talk, and other people. I felt like that was not by accident.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
no coincidences for sure.
So
Nothing happens by mistake.
yeah.
You know, I'll say that in this journey, there's things that we're going to pray for, right? And I can tell you in my life, there's things that I prayed for that never happened the way I wanted to, right? And I've been able to go and look back years later and be like, thank God. You know, so sometimes an unanswered prayer is truly a huge blessing.
Yeah.
So we have to, you know, really just trust and allow time and be patient, because God is not going to move when we want him to move. He's going to move when he's ready to move, because, again, he knows better than we do. So that's what faith is, man. Just going through it, praying for something, it not happening, and still being okay with it. You know? I think long term, he'll show you that there was a reason for that.
Yeah.
For the no, you know, no different than any parent. You know, there's a reason why we had to say no to our kids sometimes. No different.
Yeah.
He knows it.
We're like your
"No,
children."
that's not." There's also been times, man, where I've prayed for something, right, and the signs were there to not move forward, but out of our own ignorance, we decided to push through anyway. And those are hard lessons learned, man. Hard lessons learned. So, like in my world, something that I'm trying to do better in, because I'm far from perfect, man. I make mistakes all the time, man. I fall short of His glory every day, and I need forgiveness every day. But even in just doing life, right, I've tried to get myself to a point in a situation where I get a lot of opportunities to come my way in business, right? I get calls all the time. Hey, this opportunity is available.
Yeah.
In the past, I would walk into a building, for example. I'd look around. It's got a hood. It's got a walk-in. It's got this. It's got that. It looks perfect, man. I'd fall in love with that situation immediately, and then I go pray to God about it. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to walk in a building, not get emotional about it, try to walk out of there with a clear head, go pray about it before I fall in love with it. Because if I fall in love with it before I bring it to God, man, I've already made my mind up. I don't even need his opinion at that point. I've already made my own opinion, and that'll usually backfire on me from my experience. So.
You let your emotions get the best of you. Yeah. That's an interesting concept. I mean, you do it so often, you start to realize what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're passionate about something.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
with the so I'm gonna kind of shift a little bit too now with the restaurant being Tropical Grill, right? Obviously, Cuban style food, healthy alternative, right? These are all healthy foods, which we now like. I've been on it now. I've been doing your meal prep, dude. I don't want to cook. I don't want to clean any of that kind of stuff. But you know, again, I see you here working out all the time in the gym. Have you always been in the gym, or has this kind of? When did that happen? Where this is just like part of your routine now?
It's always been a part of my life, going back to probably 11 years old.
Okay.
Sports, working out, things of that nature, right? have always been a part of my life to some extent or another, right?
Yeah.
But as I started to build business, it became something that I threw on the back burner, right? It was something where I was very inconsistent with, to the point where, you know, with all the responsibility comes a lot of stress, right?
Yeah.
And I think I told you a little bit about this, but I allowed myself to get to a point some years ago where the stress was so heavy, the weight was so heavy of all the responsibility, taking every single phone call. I'm a people pleaser,
Yeah.
so I try to, if somebody wanted to meet with me, I meet with them. But whatever it was, literally, even if I knew it was going to be a waste of my time,
Yeah.
I had a hard time saying no.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to the point where everybody was dictating my schedule. So my schedule was literally made for me daily with different vendors, different deals, different things that people wanted to sit down with me and have a conversation with me. And it was always on their time, right? So, oh man, let's do coffee. I don't even drink coffee. You know what I'm saying? But there I was in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
With a water bottle.
Yeah, literally with a water bottle, literally. And, I always wanted to please people, and I would put myself second, and it got to the point where the stress and the weight of everything we had going on got to me, man. It really did get to me, and I started to experience anxiety for the first time in my life. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know that was the thing. I've heard about it, but I didn't really know what that was really, how significant that is and how it can really crush somebody. I have a lot of respect for that and a lot of sympathy for people that go through it. And once I was able to really pinpoint what it was, and it took a lot of intervention, man. It took a great friend, Dr. Bovey, is somebody that I will always give that one to, because he's a chiropractor, man, but he's somebody that I love and somebody that's just we're super lucky to have this guy here in Greenville, man. He's a phenomenal guy, and such a big heart. He was a customer of ours, man. He was once a week minimal. Everybody knew his order. Just a great guy, and I would go to this guy and I said, man, like there's something here. Like, can you adjust me, because I'm having trouble breathing.
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping well, and I think the first 2 times that he saw me in 2 weeks, 2 times in a row, like twice a week, and he starts to develop a pattern with me. He's like, Laz, and finally he's like, Laz, he's like, dude, you're dealing with anxiety. You need to slow down. I'm like, man, you're crazy. Just fix this rib, and I'll be all right.
Yeah.
And there I am the next week, 3 times seeing him, and he starts to get concerned. He's like, Laz, it's anxiety, and I did not want to hear that, man.
Yeah.
So I got to the point where finally, he got a little more serious with me, and he's like, Laz, listen to me. Like, I need you to listen to me. It's anxiety. You need to chill. You need to slow down. You need to make some time for yourself. So I heard him, man. I heard him, and I did a 360, and I put parameters up, and I stopped taking anything literally before 10 o'clock. I would not take anything. I would not. Unless it's a 911, man, like I'm not doing it, So I started to prioritize the gym, and I saw a huge difference. So I come to the gym, man, first and foremost. I get in there, I throw my head and things in, whatever you call them. My wife always makes fun of me because I never say the right word.
The iPod? Or the iPod.
Yeah.
The AirPods.
AirPods, yeah. Call them ear pods.
Yeah.
But I get in there, man. I try to get in my word, man. And that's my hour and a half, sometimes 2, to really just get right for the day and get my health right. Hopefully, I can gain some muscles out of it. That's cool too, But that's not even the main objective, man.
Yeah.
But, I'm really enjoying doing that and prioritizing that. And, it's become a part of my life now that I don't compromise on.
Yeah. It's a non-negotiable.
Completely.
Yeah. It's almost like your therapy session. I tell, you're probably the same, similar to me, because, I'm at the gym a lot. I mean, I look forward to this kind of stuff. But if you ever see me, the majority of the time, I work out by myself. I just, that's me time, Will I work out with other people? Sure. Like every once in a while, I'll work out with people, but like I don't want a regular workout partner. I like to be with my own thoughts.
Yes.
I like to, hit the weights and push myself, and it's just me time,
Yep.
And I just feel so much better afterwards, and it helps kind of lower my stress, my anxiety. I feel good, and I can get more productive. So do you find that to where, like, because I'm sure people are like, yo, Laz, you want to work out? You want to go work out together?
Not only that, like I'm able to watch people with the time I spend in the gym. I'm able to watch your clients, right, and see how their physique changes, man, in such a dramatic way in a short period of time. Like I've watched Jeremy, for example, just his turnaround, his transition, man, has been incredible to watch, and that's because he's with the right coach, right? And I see the value in that, and a lot of times I'm tempted to jump in and do something like that, man. But for me, in my situation, this is only for me. It's what you said, man. I need that time alone, man. Like that's my peace, right?
Yeah.
And if there was a way to balance that, and there probably is, right? You got to have the right people the right coach, I would say, right, that can understand what your needs are in that
Yeah.
moment, and I'm sure can facilitate that at the same time, and make it work, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, for me, it's just that's my time, man. That's
Yeah.
my time.
Yeah.
So I've had people that have offered me even free this, and I'm just like, no, it's my time.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I think
know?
everybody needs something different. You know, some with us doing everything online is great because we
yeah.
can design the programs, your nutrition plans, all that
yeah.
stuff. And they can
app.
still the app, they got
app
the
is
workouts,
phenomenal.
so they just go in and execute. You did some of the workouts as well.
Dude, that's my,
And-
my new cheat code right
Yeah.
there. Man. Just using that app and,
Yeah.
and being able to get in there and have you in my ear and, you know, watching your form and, you know, it's a cheat code, man. I have that thing there and it's been extremely helpful these last couple months that I've been using it, man. I've seen a dramatic difference.
Yeah.
Mentally, I'm you're pushing me. You're forcing me to do one more in there and
Yeah,
without even being there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's just like in business too. Like if you don't have a plan,
Oh yeah.
that you're just gonna kind of drift. You know, you're just well, I'll do this machine one day.
Oh, yeah.
Or, 3 sets, I'm good. You know, but
Yeah.
if you came in there and I got to do this, and then you're just moving. You're not wasting any
And
time.
I'm finding myself, man, because I'm looking at what I did last week. And I'm
Yes.
like, I did 10, 100, and whatever. I need to get whatever. I need to go up in weight.
Yeah.
You know, so it allows me to really keep it on my phone, man. It's super easy. It just makes life a lot easier. And what your app has done is also challenged me to get out of my regular routine and do something different that I sometimes avoid. Right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll get on there and I'll look at a specific workout routine that you put together. And I'm like, damn, I hate you, Chris. Do I have
Yeah,
to do this today?
yeah.
And it's almost like I feel like you're watching me, like, you know.
He's gonna know.
No, you can't skip that machine. You gotta do that machine. So I'm like, all right, get in there and I'll do it. And
Yeah.
I hate it, but the ones you hate are the ones that make the difference.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So,
You're pushing yourself outside your comfort zone.
yeah,
You
oh,
know.
yeah.
So it's been. I mean, I'm glad you enjoyed. I mean, a lot of our clients
love it, man.
that they love it, but there are people like Jeremy specifically, like, and has he? Yeah, he has just done the app before.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came to Carolina Iron, he was the first one. Like, Chris, are you doing it in person? I want you in person, Chris. And I was like, I don't know, man. He's like, please, like, come on, let's do it.
Oh,
And I was like, all right, let's do it. And Jeremy can push himself, but I can tell when he's here with me, he's more on it. He's more dialed in. Not even just in the gym, outside of the gym. 'Cause that's where people mess up. It's not coming in and working out. It's like, what are you eating? Are you drinking your water? Are you active? Are you sitting in front of a desk all day? And then, you know, with us, and we'll talk about this, like partnering with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy's a regular customer to your new
Man,
location
that's
right
just the
now,
coolest
dude.
thing. Yeah, that guy's there. They
Yeah.
know him by name, man.
Yeah,
He comes in
yeah.
and they know exactly what he wants. They facilitate everything for him. Super cool. He even did a video where he was going out of town and came in early. And I just love when my team does the right thing because it's the right thing to do. They didn't like, it's 30 minutes before opening.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
come
yeah,
on, dude, like, be human. And they did, and that was super cool to see it because that wasn't on my instructions. I had nothing to do with it. They just did what they should do. You know? And that was super cool to watch. But you know, before we get off Jeremy, man, I gotta brag on that kid because I told you a little bit about our initial interaction, right? Where he came out and did some work in my house, and he's just one of those people, man. I just saw so much potential in this guy, man. Him and his brother were out there, and you could just see they just want to do things right, you know. Integrity was crucial to him. Hardworking, man, and you know, I was difficult on him a little bit because for me it was an opportunity to get a young kid and kind of you know, just have some little lessons here and there as we were working together. But you know, at the end of the day, like, his commitment, his work ethic, his integrity, like, he did such a phenomenal job for us, man. And he was really just kind of getting started and exploring different avenues of his business and doing things. And you know, I was just super impressed by the job that he did and how he kept on time. And when we hit him with a curveball, man, he was just like, oh man, he would just do it, man. So you know, and then watching him now prioritize his health, you know, which is something that took me a lot longer to do. I just love watching. I think that's why you know, it's just something that I see in him that's just super cool because, you know, I'm watching him go through his journey, and I just think it's cool where he's at, that he's able to get there at this point in his life, and the transition he's made with you, man, and the time he's been with you has been impressive to watch.
Yeah. No, I tell him all the time. It's really cool because for both of us, I mean, him starting his business and as we were trying to grow mine, we kind of see both of our growths and the struggles that come along with it too, because you know, we've talked about it. I've talked to him about it. I've gone through it where, you know, you start seeing, you know, the growth in the business and you want to go hard. You're like, oh my God, things are working. And in the background, you're letting things fall off the shelf. You know what I mean?
sure.
Like things of spending time with your wife, with your
Yes,
kids.
yes.
You're like, I'm doing this for you, but are you doing it for you?
Right.
You know, or who are you really doing this for? You know,
Right.
and it's a fine line where,
It is.
you know, even for myself, I had to set those boundaries. I'm like, all right, if and I say this a lot. Some people think this is weird. Put on my schedule when I'm going to be with them.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And that's my time with them.
yeah.
You know,
It's
this is
crucial,
my
man.
time. We're doing this podcast. Our time to do the podcast.
Right.
When I'm doing coaching calls, I do coaching calls. But like everything's got its place, and I'm all in.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all in. I heard this, you know, this analogy of like if your life was a house, you know what I mean? How could you have rooms for a reason?
Right.
Right. There's boundaries. You have
Right.
business. You have family. You have your faith, and how could you possibly be in all the rooms at once?
Right.
All in.
Right.
You have to pick one.
You do.
And that's how I'm able to kind of structure my life, and I still have to, you know, work
Yeah.
on it too.
Oh yeah, yeah. We all.
But
do. Yeah.
but seeing him and I, you know,
But you're
being,
intentional about it. That's different. The fact
Yeah.
that you're intentional about it, I think, is the difference maker.
I had to.
Yeah.
I mean, if I wasn't, I might not be married right now.
Right. Yeah.
You know, she would have left me.
100%,
You know,
man. Yeah, yeah.
and that's my fault.
Well, yeah, you know, and it's just part of the world we live in, right? Because the world tells us that we have to push, and we have to hit all these goals, and the only way that we're going to be great if we're hitting all these metrics and we're thriving
Yeah.
here and thriving there, dude. How successful are you, dude? If you got all the money in the world, your business is thriving, but your marriage is falling apart, your kids don't know you, are you successful, bro? I don't think so.
No.
That's not success in my book, man.
I wouldn't trade that.
Nah,
you
no
know?
chance, man. No
So,
chance.
but I can see it when I train people or when I watch people, the way they are in the gym and the consistency and the discipline, I can automatically correlate. That's probably how you are outside
Oh,
in the real
yeah.
world.
Yeah.
You know, so
sure.
it makes sense to see, you know, you in here, Jeremy, and other guys that are just like consistent. But Jeremy, there's people that just like the in person, you know,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I'm fine with it. I like it too. So, but yeah, you know, and I'll touch on the fact too, we did a little promo commercial together, 2-3 months ago, which is super cool because that was when we first were kind of talking. You know, we got on the restaurant thing, and then, you know, you saw me starting to set up shop in the gym, you know,
Yeah.
setting up this office space, and you're like, yeah, Chris, I see what you're doing. You know, if you ever want to talk about some sort of idea or whatever, he's like, as long as it's mutually beneficial,
For sure.
you know, I'm cool. And it's funny because like you kind of cracked the door, and I was like, yo, I'm in. Like I'm about to put both feet in and let me put something together. Because I think in a week I came back and I was like, I got this idea. Let me just throw it at you. And
You ran with it.
yeah, I took it and ran. And I think that was probably, we've done a lot of things with other local businesses too. But for whatever reason, yours hit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was just like a good blend because, you know, with fitness, the nutrition is so important.
For sure.
And so if we can get people to train and they know what they're eating, they know how much they're eating, the quality food is good, like you can't really mess up.
No.
You know what I mean?
really can, man.
And so, and then you start tying in the fact that really like you'd be saving money. People think eating healthy is expensive. It is not.
Right.
If you know what you're doing.
You've proven that, man. You've proven that even to me, man. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the stuff you put on, I'm like, dang. You cracked the code. You got a cheat code on
Yeah.
Tropical Grill.
It
You
is
told
a
me
cheat
some of
code.
the things you're doing, I'm like,
Yeah.
I think we're making money there.
Well, I think I messaged you. I was like, "Are you sure you're making money doing this,
I think
dude?"
so,
But,
man. I think we're
but
good.
yeah, because I started our clients now. Like a lot of our clients they're doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, oh,
Because
yeah.
I showed them. I was like, "Look, you can do it this way, and if you break up the meals like this, you'll get this much
I love it.
calories and protein, but it's only like this much." And then they're like, "Well, dang," I was like, "I can't go out and eat by myself for that much, you know."
really can, man.
And so, and you know the food quality is good. You know things are portioned. It's really foolproof. And then
Yeah.
that's why we put you in our app too. So just in case like people are, you know, wondering what to eat, what to
yeah.
grab,
Yeah.
it's super easy. You just kind of plug in, play it. So I will say that, you know, us doing that, I was really excited for. That was
Yeah.
something I felt like I wanted to do as like a project. And even to this day, like I think it's that was just kind of the tip
Oh, yeah.
of the
no doubt
iceberg.
about it.
There's some other things that I have in mind that I think could really crush. But
Yeah.
I'm super appreciative of you even entertaining the
likewise.
idea because I can only imagine like tons of people
Yeah.
reaching out to do things with you
For sure,
in
man.
the fitness space specifically.
Yeah. There was something I told you that day, man. I see the passion in you and what you do, and it's genuine.
Yeah.
And for me, I want to align myself with somebody that had that level of passion and integrity, and you know was doing it for the right reason. And I think I told you 10 times in that one conversation, as long as you benefit from it. Because what I kept hearing from you, from my vantage point, was like, I'm gonna do this and it's gonna be beneficial for your business. And I'm like, no, it has to be beneficial for you as well, man. So I wanted to make sure that there was something
Yeah.
out of it that made sense for you, and that was my main objective. And then in hindsight, it was freaking awesome for both of us, which is that's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
That's a good partnership right there when everybody wins. So
For sure.
yeah, it was super cool, and like you said, just a tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
what we can do together. So
It's got to be. I mean, it's always got to be mutually beneficial. I
course.
guess from like a business standpoint, but for me, like I always looked at things like if I can provide value
yeah,
to what you're doing, people will see it, people will like it, and people will just then they'll see me.
right.
You know,
Exactly.
it's like now I'm in the picture. I'm getting in front of the people that already know you, that trust
Right.
you, and then vice versa. People I know,
100%.
they're like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen it. I haven't really gone there, or I need to
Yeah.
try it again, or I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah.
Because you guys have been around for a long
sure,
time,
for sure.
and so it just kind of like brought everything back to like a relevance, you know, in the fitness community. So
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I've been, and even to this day, man, every Monday and Thursday, I'm hitting up Verde. Yeah, I need my
Yeah.
chicken and rice and all that stuff. And you know, with especially for everybody that's listening, that's like if you're busy,
Yeah.
if your life is hectic and you really don't like going to the grocery store, you don't want to cook, you don't want to clean, like this is not just a hack from a financial standpoint, like a hack in life for time. Because most of those people that are super busy, their time is probably the most valuable thing ever.
Yeah.
So if you can compress that and get people to do things and it saves you on $1 too, like
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah. And what I can guarantee you from my end, man, what I'm always going to try to do for anybody that walks in that door is I'm going to try to bring the best quality products that I can find, right? And there's things in my business, man. When you're the CEO of a company, you have to make decisions, and sometimes you're going to make decisions that people don't understand and are not on board with, right? So, you know, we've had transitions in our chicken, for example, right? I eat there first and foremost. My family eats there, right?
Yeah.
But I have to serve a product that I'm proud of, man.
Yeah.
And we used to do these big old chicken breasts, right? And we used to cook those off on the flat top or whatever. And, you know, people love that. And then we kind of transitioned to a smaller, it's still off of a chicken breast, right? But the breast market is weird. I'm going to get into something that people probably don't care about, but, you know, just a little bit of insight on that, right? I saw the quality of the breast market go down because something changed somewhere with regulations and people were starting to sell absolute garbage, right? So what seemed to a lot of people as a rash decision took a lot of thinking in my part and planning, right? We buy over 1 million pounds of chicken a year, right? So I can't just get up and go to any farm I want to go to. So when I started to see that some of these farms are compromising on the quality that they were sending us, man, I had to react quickly, and it just happened to be timing. And again, I always thank God for those type of things because when this was not something I could physically control, it just kind of worked out in our favor, right? We ended up switching to a company, which is the only company that is still doing, you know, hormone-free, antibiotic-free, small chicken that has integrity behind it, right? So, and the way that door opened up was there was another huge company, which I won't name, that went away from that standard, right? And by them going away from that standard, I was knocking on that door for years, and finally, you know, they called me and they said, "Hey, we have a slot for you. We can fit you in now because so and so left. Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah!" For me, when I tell you, from a cost structure, from a business standpoint, worst decision a business can make because I can't make up those margins because the quality is so much better, but the price is so much higher.
Yeah.
So I'm super proud of the product that we're serving now.
Yeah.
And I always was. It's just something changed, and I couldn't stand behind that anymore. So I had to make an adjustment. And I'm telling you, man, we have a product now it's the best we've ever had. That comes with a sacrifice from us because it's a lot more expensive, right? So,
Yeah.
But I have to be proud of what I'm serving. So, in anything we do, man, I'm always going to try to look at these little things, right? And we're your healthy alternative, right? But I'll still sell you a burger. You want to come in and eat a burger, man?
Yeah.
It's going to be a freshly made burger. We're going to ground it up and patty it up.
It's good too.
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to tell you
you.
crap. I'm not going to get some frozen crap and sell it to you, right? So, to the people that maybe haven't tried us or the people that, you know, have been loyal to us, that's my commitment, man. I'm always going to try to do my best to, when I bring something in, whether it be our salmon, you know, which is, you know, wild caught, you know, little things like that.
Yeah.
I can easily save a ton of money, man, by compromising on the quality of the product that I'm serving, man. On
Yeah.
chicken alone, man, man, I can save so much money,
Yeah.
bro. You have no idea, but I just I won't do it. I won't do it. So
Yeah.
that's my commitment to anybody that comes through our doors.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's also why I'm such a advocate for pushing you guys too, because originally, like, yeah, you're talking chicken, rice, and steak and stuff like that. So I'm just like, yeah, most people are like, oh, it's healthy, but what are you cooking it with?
Right.
You know, and when we talked about what you were cooking it with, how you guys are seasoning, I was like, oh, wow, okay. You know, this is not what I'm used to.
Right.
You know, most people are putting food coloring in rice and, you know, whatever else they want to put in there. And the things that you were doing, I was like, oh, this is kind of, no, people don't know this.
No.
You know, people don't know this. And I think a lot of people, you know, being as a fitness professional, they're like, Chris, you know, we're talking calories, we're talking macros, the proteins, fats, and carbs, but like, does food quality really matter? Like, if I'm hitting my calorie goal, does it really matter?
Not right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I tell
30 years from
people,
now.
it does matter. And honestly, I know you're thinking even longer, but if people compared a week or two of just eating your calories, but it's like highly processed, not good quality food versus like very clean, healthy, organic food, the body looks and feels different.
Completely.
So, and again, it starts to mess with your digestive system.
It really does, man. And when we're younger, man, we think we can get away with just about anything. I mean, I'm sure there's guys out there that can have a McDonald's diet and get shredded because they're hitting all the macros, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know what that does to you long term.
Yeah.
I'll let everybody else figure that one out. But it matters, man. What you put in your body matters, and that's for me. I have to first and foremost, like I said, man, I eat there. My kids eat there, man. So I'm not gonna serve something that I'm not proud of. So, but we got to take care of our health, man. We talk a lot about business and about some of the goals in life, but if you're not taking care of your health, if you're not doing the right things to keep yourself healthy,
nothing matters.
None of it matters, man.
Yeah, none of it matters.
Yeah.
So where do you now, with you guys you just opened up your most recent location, which is 15. Yeah. Where do you see the vision at this point? Are you guys, or do you feel like, okay, this is enough, or do you see more expansion? I know you have not just Tropical Grill, you have a pasta project that we've talked about. One location right now, right?
One location right now.
One location.
Project, yeah, man.
So do you want to continue like growing and scaling, or?
My easy answer is yes. I do want to continue to grow, and I'm actively looking for locations, right? But I'm going with the flow, man. I'm allowing the opportunities to come to me, and I'm being patient about it. And I don't have the urgency that I had at one point. Not to say that we're not going to grow, and for all I know, 3 great opportunities to come tomorrow, and all of a sudden I'll tell you, I have 3 on the contract. That can happen. But I'm being diligent about what I do moving forward, and I'm being diligent with my time, and just overall, I just want to make sure that I'm making the right moves, and that I don't compromise my ability to spend the time that I need to spend with my family, more than anything else.
Yeah.
That's the most valuable thing to me. Creating memories, man.
Yeah.
After that, I gave up a good part of the last couple of years, working hard, and for a long time it was 7 days a week, and days and nights, and I'm trying to get some of that time back selfishly. I'm super blessed that I was able to do that alongside my wife. We've worked together, and have been together. I think I can probably count on my hands, on one hand, the amount of times that we've been apart for a day,
Wow.
Since we've known each other, man, going back to, it was almost 25 years now.
Oh, wow.
And each time it's been something like, maybe the kids had something going on, a field trip or something that she had to go on. So I've had that time, but at the same time, like, cool, we've been able to work together and be together, and we've made the most of that, and we've created memories. Even in that, we've had fun times, and but I want to get out, and I want to get more memories in my book, so I can look back and say, all right, I lived life, didn't let it live me. So I'm being a little more careful, man, about the growth. But yes, we're gonna grow, we're gonna keep growing, and as long as I have the right infrastructure in place and the team in place, then we'll keep pushing. That's always been one of the biggest motivating factors behind growth is, I have people that are depending on me, like you said earlier, that are looking for opportunities, and I want to make sure that I'm creating those opportunities for them. So, we'll keep on pushing.
Yeah. Do you think that opening up, let's say, your second and third one is harder than trying to open up a 16, 17?
For sure.
Yeah.
1,000%, man.
I
Not even
figure.
close. Yeah, man. It's just one of those things where now you have policies, procedures in place. You've learned some things the hard way and gotten
Yeah.
through those, and it makes it a lot easier. I think this last one, our team did such a phenomenal job in that Wade Hampton location that I mean, I practically wasn't needed at all. I was there just for fun, because I wanted to
Yeah.
get in there and get my hands dirty and
Yeah.
have some fun. Like these people kick me off the line, like we don't need you, right? We got this. I'm like I know, but let me have some fun, man.
Just tell me you need me. Just tell me.
Yeah.
Just
Let me get in there. And
Make me feel
enjoy
good.
that. That's like I've always said it, man. I really do. I have enjoyed the restaurant business. I enjoy the people aspect of it so much that sometimes I just want to be in there and take over a register, or take over the line, man. Sometimes I just need to have a line, a ticket, one of them little, I'm talking about, the little
Yeah.
line full of the tickets, and
Yeah.
just dive into that and get lost in there for a little while, and just, I love that, man. The busier, the better, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes I'll just push them out the way and jump in there to have a little fun and
Take a
they'll
break.
Sit there and
No,
watch.
just
me,
take a
like,
break.
yeah. They're like, we could have done this without you. I'm like, yeah, I know, but let me have some fun.
Yeah, yeah. That's how you know. That's how you know you love it.
Yeah.
So shifting gears to business is definitely a massive learning curve. It definitely was for me.
Yeah.
Because you can be a great line cook, you can be a great,
Yeah.
front end manager and all that, but to like really run something, it's a whole nother skill set.
Oh yeah.
It's a whole nother level, and I'm kind of learning that in stages now. But again, I had to get mentors to help me because I know that I'm a good coach. I understand working out and nutrition and stuff like that.
Right.
But the business, like, what do you mean? Well,
Yeah.
people don't just come knock on your door and they come in and they're like, hey, yeah, I want to work with you.
Oh yeah.
And it does not work like that.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people in our space they don't make it because they think that's how it works.
Right.
And now it's so oversaturated. Like you have to get even more dialed in with the things that you're doing if you're going to survive out here.
Oh yeah.
So, but there's plenty of people,
Oh yeah.
So, but
I tell people, man, think about your business, whatever passion you have. Look further down the line. Think about what it's going to take, what hats you're going to have to wear. I talk about hats all the time, man, because it's super important. Initially, you're everything. You are the CEO, the CFO, the guy that washes the dishes, the guy that cleans the toilets.
Yeah,
You're all
yeah.
of it, right?
Yeah.
So as you grow, you have to start handing out these hats, and then the CEO job becomes a little more real when you have 100 employees versus having 10. When you first start off.
Yeah.
All of a sudden things get a little more real, and you have to understand a lot of other things that you just don't know. Especially if you come from zero and you start from the bottom and you really don't have the education behind it. And even with education, man, you can go to college and still not know every law out there in the book, and you learn things the hard way in a lot of ways because you just don't know until you're faced with them, right?
Yeah.
So think ahead, plan ahead, think about the different roles that you're gonna have to play in your business, and get rid of them when you can. When the time allows, hand over that hat to somebody that has that experience. Bring in somebody more knowledgeable than you. Don't be afraid to let go of control. Those are little things
hard.
that you have to. Yeah, it's super hard, extremely hard. I remember my first time leaving my Pelham Road store. I was leaving it. Excuse me. I was leaving it in very capable hands. But even then, me getting away and not being there every single night, and I was paying for the position already, but I was still showing up. Like, what are you doing here? Like, I'm here.
Yeah,
I don't know any better. So.
That's funny. Yeah, I want to add to that too because, from an outsider in, and in general, not just you or when you look at people that have success, sometimes people will say, "Man, you're lucky, dude. You're lucky." And my thing is this, and I don't want to disclose anything right now. Well, we've talked about it too,
Right.
but like I think when you plan and you prepare, and when the opportunity presents yourself, you're ready.
Yeah.
That's real luck, quote unquote. Like you've been working for something to where you're ready for it, because so many people want the success now, they want the business now, they want the clients now, they want the money now. If somebody were to just give it to you all now, do you really think you could handle it?
Man.
Probably not. If I started my business, I'm like, here,
chance.
tomorrow you got 100 clients. I'd be thrilled, and I would also just bomb everything.
Oh, man.
They'd all leave me
difficult. Oh,
because I don't have nothing put in place. So, my thing is like I've always worked, always trying to put pieces together, have systems in place. So, because I always feel like at some point things will like really start to progress a little more.
Oh, yeah.
When, I don't know, but I'm still moving in a general direction.
Right.
I'm not sitting
Yeah.
duck just waiting for things to happen. I joke about this all the time. I'm just like, I'm just casting lottery tickets every day.
Right.
Just casting.
Exactly.
Like one of them's gonna hit one day,
Yeah.
But I think that's the reality of it, is that there's no luck. There's no luck. I mean, and anything that is lucky is never held on to for long. You see all these people that win literally, I'm talking about lottery tickets. People win the lottery ticket and bankrupt.
Yeah.
Lose it all.
I love what Pitbull says about luck, man. He says something to the effect of, the funny thing about luck, the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Facts.
There's no such thing.
Yeah, it is.
You
I
gotta
mean,
go out there and get it.
it's true. You got to hustle for it. So,
For sure.
well, I respect everything you do, man. I think it's really cool. I'm glad that we're able to do things together and continue to.
Absolutely.
And you blocking off some time for me for the podcast.
Easy, man.
Like I said, I was enjoying it. I tried my best. Shout out to your wife too. I think I take up a lot of your time when you come in here in the gym. She's like, "Come on, we gotta work out."
She's a stickler of the schedule.
Yeah. So
gotta be here. I'm like, you're not gonna get fired, right? If you get there 5 minutes late, right? Nobody's gonna fire you. Chill out.
So I put the stopwatch. 30 seconds. I got 30 seconds.
Man, she's so regimented, man. Like,
that's cool,
thank
though.
God for her, man. Like, I mean, you talk about one of the most important decisions you'll make in your life, man, is the person you marry, man. And
oh yeah.
Like, that's literally, I've seen so many people with so much potential, men and women, marry the wrong person and put themselves in a bad spot, man. And I'm just lucky I married the right person, man. I really am.
Yeah.
We were kids, and a lot of what we've done, man, we've figured out the hard way, and we got thrown into life and things that we probably weren't even ready for, but we did it. And she's just somebody she keeps our life together, man, in so many different ways. Even from a young mother, man, like, she's so impressive. Even then, like, being a wife in every sense of the word, while being a CFO and going after everything that moves, and having the guts to go after things when I didn't have them, and like, honestly, man, yeah, she's the one that pushed us into getting into business for ourselves to begin with. She knew I had a certain skill set.
Yeah.
She believed in me, but there was zero chance that I would pull the trigger without her. Zero, absolutely no chance in the world that I would own a business if it wasn't for that girl. Because when I'm thinking about it, she's signing loans, leases and freaking contracts, and I'm just like, I'm still thinking about it. She's like, well, you can keep thinking about it all you want. I already signed. So
yeah.
She's phenomenal, man. She's truly. I married my best friend, man, and that's something that is super important. That decision there, man, it really shapes the trajectory of your life, man. And I hope that my kids are able to find that, man. If there's one thing that I desire for my kids, is that they really genuinely meet their best friend, marry their best friend, and are able to go through the ups and downs of life, knowing that it don't matter what happens, man. Like, that girl at one point when we almost lost it all, man, she literally told me, she said, I don't care if we end up under a bridge, we're going to end up there together. And I believed it, and I know that was the truth behind her, because she's that person, man. As much as she likes nice things, man, and people see some of the things she has and the material things and things like, man, that girl could care less, man. If her family's good, I'm good, man. Like, that's really what she cares about in the big scheme of things. And, she'd throw it all away for that in 2 seconds. No questions asked. So that's cool, man. She definitely keeps our lives together. That's for sure.
I love that. I say the same thing, and you said it. Best friend. You marry your best friend. I say that all the time. Like, I married my best friend.
It's different, man.
You don't do it out of like just a sexual appearance or lust or anything like that. There's like I want to do everything with you. I want to be with you all the time. I want to travel with you, see the world with you. I want to experience life with you.
Yeah.
It's just another level. And that was one of the things too. I think it's great that you guys been able to work together, because, my wife has great ideas and she has helped me with things, but I keep my business separate.
Yeah.
She takes care of our kid. Does that kind of stuff. But one of the things
the real hard work.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, some sanity. When my son was like that, 2 years old and stuff, she's like, Chris, you realize the majority of my day, I'm talking to someone that doesn't even talk, like talking baby to you,
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, I guess so. But and this is the same time that I started my business. One thing I heard, I wish I could remember who said it. They're like, as you're growing, don't grow too fast where you outgrow your your wife, your
Of
lover,
course.
whoever, because sometimes they can feel left behind, or you
100%.
feel like you're too far ahead.
Right.
So you got to make sure that you're carrying them and keeping you guys together.
Oh yeah.
And so I always try to keep my wife in the loop of, what we're doing. I've taken her to some seminars. It's not for her.
Right,
It's
right,
okay.
right.
That's my thing. That's my thing.
And that's cool, man.
But we've learned each other, and it's something we continue to work on. But through we've had hardships too, especially with like our families and stuff like that, and which just made us even closer.
That's it.
But we've proven to each other that like we're in this together, and we come first.
Yeah, man.
We come first,
Yep.
and then everybody else,
Yep.
they can come after. Because if we're not good, no, nothing's good.
Best picture I've ever taken, and it was a spontaneous situation. I have it somewhere in my Facebook probably, but it's my hand, my wife's hand, then my kids' hands, and I took a picture of that one day, and that picture means more to me than anything else in the world, man, because that really is the foundation of my life, man. Like right there, that's where it all starts and ends right there, and then you can kind of see the cross in the picture, which represents God for me, and to me that picture just really tells the whole story of what's the most important thing in my life, man. And we're super blessed, man, to have that, because a lot of people don't have that. You talked about best friend, to marry your best friend, man, that's critical. So that's I always tell people, man, if there's ever anything you want to be envious of me of, because there's some people out there that envy and they're choosing the wrong thing, man. They'll look at cars and they'll look at this and business. Like, no, man, if you really want to be envious of me, man, this is where you need to be envious, right here. My family, man, my wife and my kids, man, those relationships right there, man, that's all that matters. Everything else is a bonus, man. So
yeah, unfortunately, I do like that's my weakness, because we will argue about some stuff, and then my mind don't work.
Right.
Like I can't
Oh, you gotta go
focus.
fix that.
I'm like, and I gotta like get my head space back together and like chill out, and I gotta hurry up and go mend whatever I said or whatever it is, because I can tell, like, if our relationship's not good, it affects everything else in my life.
It really does, man.
I don't want to mess with anything. I don't want to talk to nobody. Like it's just not good.
No, you can't even
And
focus.
so I'm like,
I've even
keep
told
her
my
happy.
kids that, man. I've had the little games, kids play, especially when they're a little older. Oh, mom, dad, who's more important to you, me or mom? I'm like, mom. Like, what? Like, that's so against what the culture tells you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, what do you mean, mom? I'm like, yeah, mom. What are you, crazy? I said, listen, you're gonna get married, you're gonna get off, and you're gonna forget I exist, right? And that's number one. They won't. We're such a tight family, but I tell them, man, I said, man, it all starts here, man. If me and your mom are not good, then nothing is good. Nothing is good. So that's my most important relationship I have is your mom, after God, and they get it. They get it now. They fully now in their age and their, right now in their life, they understand it. And I always tell them, man, I hope you get that. I hope you're able to say that one day, because that's gonna make the biggest difference in your life, man. And how you live life, and nothing matters. Material things don't matter, man. None of that stuff, man. It's cool, right, to go out and go to certain places and have certain access to things, man. But in reality, man, you can scale down a little bit, still take that vacation, maybe not stay in a 5-star, stay in a freaking 3-star, but at the end of the day, if you're in a 5-star hotel with people you don't love, what does it matter, bro? What are you doing? So for me, it's about the company you're with, the people around you, man, and everything else is a bonus, man. It's not really truly what matters, bro. What matters is making memories with the people you love, and that's my only focus in life right now, man. I'm telling you right now. Everything. You asked me about some of my plans and some of I'm trying to create memories, man. I still have to work. I still have to grind. And I'm still gonna grow. But everything is first and foremost, what does this do to my ability to create memories with my family? That's it.
You don't have to have everything. Just make the best of everything.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
So
I like that.
No, I love it. I appreciate you coming on
man.
the podcast. Hope a lot of people get to hear your story and share it. Again, I do this podcast selfishly because I want to hear people's story and learn from them, and I learn a lot from you, and I hope people tap in. Podcast has affected my life. Obviously it's a free resource too.
Absolutely.
But again, when you hear people's stories and where they came from and the struggles, I hope it just expands people's mind to what's really possible if you keep pushing forward.
Man.
And get in
I'm a resource, man. Anybody out there that's listening to this thing that wants to speak or has a question, man. Like I said, I don't know. I don't have all the answers, man. I just know where I've made mistakes. And sometimes that's the only value I bring. But if I can bring that, man, and keep you from bumping your head in that same place, man, then
Yeah.
I'm the guy that will more than willing to do it. I don't care if you're opening up a restaurant right next to me, man. Like, to me, my blessings are my blessings. Your blessings are your blessings, man. I never look at it like, well, this person's gonna take from me.
Yeah.
I don't believe I serve a God with limitations. So,
100%.
what He has for you, He has for you. What He has for me, He has for me, man. So,
Yeah, I respect it.
yeah.
Well, thank you, man.
Thank you,
I
brother.
appreciate it.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Maybe
it.
we'll do another one another time. We'll see in the next couple of years. You'll have like 50 tropical grills.
50 more memories.
Yeah. All right, brother.
I enjoyed
Thank you,
it, man.
guys.
Yes,